Welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. I think we're getting a few more in now. We should probably kick off. I love that Vintage Vic has already got his hand up to come on stage and we haven't even started talking yet.
Vintage Vic never fails to ask a great question.
Well, the pressure's on, Vic. We're expecting a really good one today when you come up.
Great. Shall we get kicked off and people will start coming in. We've got an introduction before we get to community questions. So we can use this time to just give a little update on where we are at the moment. Stay tuned to this AMA because we've got some exciting news on a TGE date. But first, it's been a couple of weeks since our last Discord AMA, and we just want to run through the successes and the good news across the sweat community. So, the first thing is thank you to everyone for joining our community channels and being such active participants across all our channels. Not only are the numbers incredible, to have 190,000 people in Twitter, 65,000 in Discord, and overall across all our channels, that combines to 275, including our other channels. So not only are those numbers incredible, the engagement we're seeing and the participation we're seeing from the community is really incredible. And people helping out other community members, it's great to see the spirit that that you guys are creating within the community. So we just want to start by saying thank you to everyone for taking part in the community. We're seeing really great participation in things like the Everyday Heroes challenge on Twitter. We're having hundreds and hundreds of people posting videos of how they're creating sweat. And we will announce the winners of the last Everyday Heroes challenge very soon. Also, we've got the Discord quizzes going on and had hundreds and hundreds, I think actually over 1,000 people join the competition. And it's just great to see so many people getting involved and having fun in our community. Last but not least, on to perhaps the most important number that we can give you before TGE is our wallet creation. We are about to hit 10 million sweat wallets created, which is astounding number. We have spoken a lot about the number of non-custodial wallets that have been created. And it's simply because it's a truly unprecedented number in crypto. As people have said, it's already predicted at about 7% of all non-custodial crypto wallets currently in existence, which is just incredible for a project that's 10 weeks old, even less. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for all your work, all your support in the community. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Consensus in Austin for one of the biggest crypto events of the calendar year. And I want to hand over to our CMO, Jess, who was there in Austin to walk you through what we accomplished there.
Thank you, Charlie. Yes, fabulous to hear that data. All I would say actually is to you as community members, if anybody can help us find out a number for the total number of crypto wallets in existence, do please flag it in Discord, on Twitter. Oleg, our co-founder, was asking this question yesterday. There doesn't seem to be an authoritative source of it. And we'd love to know basically what percentage we make up of it. So get involved and help us find some lovely data stories that we can weave in to build the momentum. It's lovely to be able to be talking data like this, particularly in the current crypto climate. We're going to come on and talk about this a bit later. It's certainly the elephant in the room. There aren't many people that are feeling as upbeat as we are right now, and we want to explain why that is. And Ofir will provide a great sort of snapshot of his enthusiasm and excitement for what's happening at Sweat right now, as somebody who's joined the project very quickly and has immersed himself very deeply in who we are and where we're going. So I'm really looking forward to you hearing more from him shortly. Yes, we were at Consensus last month, a very, very hot and sweaty 42 degrees, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, Austin, Texas. It is one of the biggest crypto events in the world. And it was a fantastic event for us to be at. Pretty much the first event in which we've raised our head up and put our branding out there, and it was so well received. We did some official activations. So we had Oleg on stage with the NEAR team. They were introducing a lot of their sort of highest flying projects. And we also hosted a party with them, which was fantastic. We had a load of very influential KOLs and investors and media, and a huge number of fans for our project in attendance there. Many beers were had. And we gave everyone these lovely sweat branded koozies, and there are a lot of T-shirts being worn as well. In a more guerrilla approach outside of the conference itself, we had a number of different things going on. We did walking tours. So we partnered with a tour company and got people walking around sweaty Austin, luckily in the cooler hours of the morning, counting their steps and taking in some of the key sites around the business district. We had brand ambassadors wearing our pink and black branded T-shirts, handing out walking maps of Austin, detailing the step count to get from place to place, which is something that we'd love to do in more big cities around the world. So let us know if you want to see more of that in your area. And we also did some wild posting and stenciling, so getting some big posters out, which we had to do the creative for about 2 weeks before Austin. So they all sadly said join the 80 million walking into crypto, whereas the number by then was actually 100 million. So that's how fast we are growing. And it was fantastic actually just to be able to tell people that, yep, great posters, bit out of date. This is why. But it was lovely to see the buzz that we created. Indeed, even though we were light on the ground team-wise, there were so many people wearing our T-shirts that it apparently caused quite some consternation from those that actually did want to have business conversations, because they kept tapping people on the shoulder that had nothing to do with us. And then eventually managing to get hold of us and saying, oh, we saw you all over Consensus. So it was a great initiative, and we hope to be doing more of those in both Web3 land and also Web2, so that we can take the brand to the people who are out and about, walking around, getting involved in active and sporting events, perhaps musical festival events. So we will keep you posted if we're appearing in a city near you. And indeed, always welcome ideas from the community for other things we should be doing event-wise. This is a community. If you've got great ideas for marketing initiatives, places we should be, I'm sure there's some interest in some swag from many of you. We are looking into some options for that as well, and seeing how we might be able to create those and get them distributed by way of rewards and or for redemption for sweat and sweat coins. So that's probably it for an update from me. Charlie, I will hand over to you to do the intros to Ofir.
Thanks, Jess. Ofir is our marketing director, and it's really great to have him on board. And I just want to start by allowing Ofir to introduce himself to the community. Ofir, do you want to take over and talk a little bit about your background and why you chose Sweat Economy?
Happily. Can you hear me well now?
We can.
Fantastic. So I'm 35 years old now, and I first started to become engaged with cryptocurrency when I published on my Facebook page, 2013. I wanted my friends to tell me how to invest my money in something that would be good for my money and for the world. And they said, you have to buy Bitcoin. And I said, what's that? And they taught me, and I eventually started engaging with it that way. A year later, in 2014, I had the first business in Israel that accepted Bitcoin. You could walk into our restaurant and buy beers and burgers with Bitcoin. And so a lot of the crypto community would congregate. That would be a place of meeting for them. It was called the Sustainabar. Years after that, I started to do promotions for what was then called ICOs, token sales of 2017, 2018. And I learned a lot about the excitement and the potential. However, of how young the technology was, that most of the blockchains throughput and transaction costs were just not ready to do mass market. And then in the last 2 years, I co-founded a protocol called the Resource Protocol. That's a company that exists, still doing pretty well. The token is publicly traded. And I started to look for, let's call it my main career fantasy. I had one main career desire that I would be involved in something in crypto that rewards users for engaging with it, that has product market fit, meaning it's already beyond the proving stage, it's already live and going well. And of course, Sweatcoin with 100+ million users is there, 10 million plus wallets already created. And so then, in the opportunity of engaging with mass market, do something that doesn't have a paywall. Where you really look at the cryptocurrency industry today, you look at projects, for example, like StepIn, which a lot of people compared us to when we went to the conference. They're another move to earn project, but they're very different because you have to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to enter their game, to own the NFT, to be able to earn for your steps. And so the approach of we are targeting everyone that wants to be engaged with us. And that's why we can get to millions or tens or hundreds of millions of people. And the potential there is to finally do something that I have been promising all my life. You know, guys, because the first marketing video I ever made for a client was in 2016. And the video ended with, we'll bring crypto to the masses. And I've never seen that happen yet, not truly. NFTs and play to earn and token buying is not really hit the masses. As I like to say, I'm waiting for a product that my friends and my sister can use. And so that's, I would say, my opening statement on why I'm here and how I got here, and why I'm very excited, because I think that when you look at the prices and you look at Bitcoin and ETH going down and you think to yourself, so many other projects from, you know, the big projects like Uniswap or some smaller DeFi project that launched 3 months ago, they're all impacted by that because they rely directly on trading volume, on staking volume, and that is directly impacted by the price of those assets. And when you look at what this organization is doing with Sweatcoin and with Sweat Wallet, the main element is getting enough people involved, enough people downloading, using, logging in, checking it, and these people generate revenue that has nothing to do with the price of crypto. So we have advantages from being on the blockchain, but we're not reliant on the price of Bitcoin. And I find that to be a very unique and important position. Yeah.
Wonderfully put, Ofir. I think that's something that the community really, I see a lot of questions about the current market, and I think that answers very perfectly how we are a product that is really for all seasons. On to some of the questions that I've seen most frequently asked in our Discord channels, on Twitter, and places like that across the community. The big update that I'm sure many of you have tuned in to hear is, when is TGE? Ofir, you have the pleasure of announcing our big news.
All right, here it goes. So, first of all, thanks for everyone who's tuned in. I see we're already at almost 120 people. So for anyone who joined in the last 60 seconds, I'm Ofir, the new marketing director. So clearly, the launch of the Sweat token and the launch of the Sweat wallet is what we're all here waiting for. And following advice from basically everyone that is participating in the market and is following what's happening right now, we've decided to postpone the launch of the token and the wallet in order to have a better opening condition. And instead of saying we're pushing it to a certain month, we did make a point, and it was important for us to communicate with the community a specific date. So you can open your calendars and write September 12th this year is when we're going to do the launch of the wallet and the launch of the token. But it will coincide with Near blockchain that we're building on top of. So there's going to be their annual conference, NearCon, in Lisbon, where a lot of the company employees live. And so we're going to have that date. There are going to be questions about where is it going to be listed, or where can I buy it? Like, which sexes are you on? Which dexes are you on? Which Charlie and I were speaking about before the call. And Charlie, I do feel like it's a good one to already cover my answer about that. So I can tell everyone here that the launch of the Sweat token is significantly anticipated by major players in the industry. If you look at 1 year ago, there was a lot of projects, there was a lot of money, there was a lot of noise. Anything felt like it could be a huge success story. But right now, where the market is, people are looking for somebody who feels like they're going to deliver something big. And just the 10 million wallets that are already waiting, we're going to have many millions more waiting by September, is something that is getting the attention of the top tier exchanges, launch pads, influencers, KOLs. Everybody and anybody is open to speaking with us and is excited about what we have to say. So we can't share which specific ones we'll be on, but I can assure you that if you're here and you're listening, you know how special this is. Everyone else also sees that. Charlie.
Thanks, Ofir. And I'm sure to just head off some of the questions that will inevitably come at the stand-up that we'll do afterwards, where we'll invite community members on stage. The reason we've moved it to September as opposed to July or in the summer is simply there are two factors, really. A, market conditions, but also this pushing it to September will allow us to create a Sweat Wallet app that will have even more awesome features. So it's really a win-win in every scenario. Great.
It's worth saying also that, you know, by having pushed it back from this summer, in inverted commas, that we have, guys, you have now got more time to rack up as many sweat coins as you can, because the TGE event is the only time at which your sweat coins will be matched 1-to-1 with sweat on that date. So the race is on now between pretty much now and that date, which hopefully you've already put in your calendar, to get walking, get referring friends, get engaging, so that you can really rack up as many sweat coins as you can, because they'll all be matched on that TGE date. So whereas you may have thought you only had days before that might happen, you now have more weeks in which to do that. So do take that as the opportunity it is, and get racking up your sweat coins.
Yeah, very good point, Jess. Don't forget, everyone, that the minting difficulty is going to increase rapidly, such that, say, after 5 years, about 1,000 steps will actually equal 0.06 sweat. So think about you're getting 1 sweat at the moment now. It's actually a great situation, and it's a really good opportunity for everyone to max up their sweat coins. And also on that note of TGE, I'd just like to make that distinction that the token generation event, that's another question I see a lot of. What does TGE mean? Token generation event. We are using it as a generic term for the launch of Sweat Token, but it will have different, very important phases and moments. There will be a moment where we snapshot your sweat coin balance, and that will equate to the amount of sweat tokens you'll have. There's also the launch of the Sweat Wallet app, which will happen at the same time. So and there is also the giving over of the generation itself of the sweat tokens into your wallet. Great. Glad we covered that, and I'm sure there will be some questions at the end about TGE. But for now, let me move on to some more community questions. We have one from Sheng, which is related to TGE. Can we know how many sweat tokens will be launched? Ofir, do you have an answer for that?
Many sweat tokens will be launched. I mean, we were talking about something like 21 billion. I'm sure by September more will be created. So it'll be somewhere between 21 to 22 or 23 billion. But those are all very arbitrary numbers. And it's very important to remember, everyone that has sweat coins will receive them as sweat tokens, but not everyone will keep them. They have to log into the wallet, claim them, engage with them. And so a lot of that original issuance is probably going to be burned, billions of it. And that's only one of the buy and burn or otherwise burn mechanics that are going to be into it. There's 2 elements when we talk about token amounts, like total token supply. One is there are many elements in which tokens will be burned in order to make them rare. And another element is how you're going to be able to see them become more and more rare because they are harder to earn over time. And there's a lot more to say about this, but I'll just say that now.
Yeah. Thanks. Tim. Another question from the community, and I think this is quite a big one. This is more product focused, and people are asking, and I've seen it quite a lot. Can we generate sweat tokens on a treadmill, or would that be detected by the fraud detection algorithm as a kind of cheating? If you oh wait, Sarim's just popped on stage.
Yeah, I can answer that question if you're
Oh
in.
great.
Brilliant.
The
So
crypto knight.
oh, and Oleg's popped up. I can let Oleg answer if you would like to go ahead.
Hey guys, do you hear me?
We do.
Apologies for late arrival. Yes, no, it's a brilliant question, and the answer is yes. Provided it is a genuine movement, it will be counted. So use your treadmills, kind of to your heart's content. But be careful, don't do 24 hours a day, kind of protect your health. Don't be silly. We need you walking for the next many years as opposed to just for the next few months.
A marathon, not a sprint. Exactly.
Perfect.
Great.
Exactly.
Thank you, Oleg. And another question to anyone on stage that feels like they can answer. Can we buy sweat tokens with fiat before the launch?
No. First of all, the sweat tokens don't exist yet. They need to be issued during the token generation event. That's literally what it's called. And second of all, you can earn sweat coins by walking, but to be distinct from sweat tokens, which don't exist yet and are therefore not available for purchase for, I suppose, Oleg, you could say people can participate in the strategic round if they're KOLs, but I don't think that's what they thought they're asking. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I think no. The moment when token will start existing is TGE, and this is going to be the first time that everyone will be able to actually get their hands on the token.
I would add as well, I would caution taking a lot of care with anyone that is saying that they will sell you their sweat coins. If they're saying they'll sell you their sweat tokens, then they're evidently scammers because the tokens aren't yet available. But there are a lot of black market people selling sweat coins. Please approach with care because we cannot obviously be held responsible for that scammer activity. It's not something that we condone. So do exercise healthy skepticism, cynicism, and avoid if you can, because it's not really possible.
Great, thank you, everyone. There's a couple of questions here which are similar, so I've decided to group them. The King has asked, is it possible to upgrade your capacity of steps per day for minting sweat token? If you've read our light paper, you'll know that there is a cap at 5,000 steps a day. And another question from Ping is that 5,000 steps set in stone? Is it going to change? And what will be the factors that will affect each person's minting limit?
I can venture some stuff.
Yes, yeah,
okay.
go ahead. Please.
So
Thank you.
no, the starting point is 5,000. We're not envisioning this to be changing immediately. We feel that if there is a change needed, we would be very interested in engaging community and potentially running it through the voting of token holders. That will eventually evolve into becoming a DAO. So let's see how it all works and kind of what impact it has on the sort of token economics. And if there is a need to change, we're definitely open to a dialogue with the community and potentially running it through the vote. And if there is a vote that suggests that we should change, we will change.
Great, thank you. Ofir, one for you. I know one that we've spoken about a lot following your trip over to Austin for Consensus, where you said a lot of people kind of said, "Oh, you're similar to Stefan." And there's a great question here from Pazua in our Discord, who said, "Stefan's GMT and GST have suffered because of the Chinese ban, and it appears that potentially the business model is letting them down." And that it might lead to further problems with the token. He says, I understand that Sweat Token's business model is original and different, but can you speak a bit more about the similarities and really the differences between us and Stefan?
All right. It's a pleasure to answer this. First of all, Stepin is basically a play-to-earn game. It's a gamified in the sense that you participate with large sums of money. So that's the biggest differentiator. They're going for, like, if you had to imagine how many customers or how many users Stepin has, it would probably be in the tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 people. And a few weeks ago, I don't know what the numbers are right now, Oleg, but I remember a few weeks ago I was on a meeting and Anton said that we have 400,000 downloads a day. So Stepin is a really interesting, very focused and targeted DeFi/token native game. And however, it's also high risk because the price of the assets that you're buying in order to get into the economy changes significantly. And a lot of people might be disappointed if what they expected was to make more money than they put in, which, it's not something that Stepin have ever promised anybody, but a lot of people had that expectation. So all the luck to them. But what we're doing is completely different because it's free to use. We're joining a large family of businesses who have proved on the internet that free to use is king. Facebook, Google, Instagram, TikTok are all free to use, and they all have advertising revenue that enables them to give you that fantastic experience that people like so much and are in that experience so frequently. So I would say that our mission is to get as many people in the world walking. And that right there is another reason why we're free to use, because we wouldn't want to have a paywall, because that would significantly reduce how many people in the world move more because of our products. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Oleg.
No, I think really, really well put. Kind of one of the things that popped in my head is you can think of Stepin as version 1 of Move to Earn. It's a very simple, straightforward, quite sort of clear proposition. You pay to play, and then through play, you hoping to earn more money than you paid. But actually, because of the price of entry, that makes the addressable market and the whole thing very, very small. You cannot become a 1 billion user business with that model. We are sort of 10% on the way already there. We have more than 100 million users because we are using completely different approach. Think of it as a Move to Earn V2, V3, because we have a lot more sophisticated business model, a lot more different revenue streams, and we know how to build sustainable business because we learned it over the last 7 years.
Thanks, everyone. I think that comes on to another really kind of good question. And I think it's as much as anything, given where the market is at the moment, a concern in the community, which is how does the project mitigate against kind of big risks of collapse? And I would just answer this myself and just say that it's the Sweat wallet and Sweat token are rolling out of a tried and tested and a proven Web 2 company that has proven to be profitable. And I think that's where there's a real distinction with what we're seeing in the market, which is so often hype over substance. I think, we know for a fact that Web3 is a very, very different ballgame to Web2. However, a lot of the same principles of business still apply. You still need revenue, user base, product market fit. And these things have been validated by the initial offering of Sweatcoin and by the team that have produced it, who are now working under Sweat Economy. So I've answered my own question there on a rather interviewing myself moment. So I will quickly move on and hand over another question for everybody on stage. Okay, Ofir, we this is one that comes up a lot in our minting difficulty graphics, which we have posted across Twitter, Discord, the light paper, and as I mentioned earlier, the difficulty increase of minting Sweat. It has been interpreted by someone called Oliver Witt, who says, "Great job, I'm very impressed with your project. One suggestion though, it doesn't make sense to attach the minting difficulty to a timeline." And I'd like to just allow you the chance to clarify that this is not, in fact, the case. Ofir, I think we might have lost. Ofir, are you there? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Oleg?
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
hear
hear
very
you.
well.
Yeah.
Okay. I can pass over to you, Oleg, to answer that question.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it might appear in graphs that it is a function of time, but it is not. The minting difficulty increases with every single sweat. So next sweat is going to require more steps to produce than the previous one, and this difficulty is going to be increasing in real time, so that it's always better idea to go for a walk in the morning rather than in the evening. It's better idea to go for a walk today rather than waiting for a weekend. This is very much in line with our mission to make the world more physically active and help you to find motivation to walk sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Ofir, we have you back. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Great.
I could hear you the whole time. I think, whatever, I fixed it.
Great. Finally, I think, and then we'll move on to questions from the community. A question from someone in Discord. In the last AMA, Henry, our chief crypto officer, announced that the tokens dropped at TG will not be 100% liquid. What are the details on the amount that will be liquid and the unlock period for those tokens? Oleg or Ofir?
As I recall, it's 10% unlocked at the start, but better Oleg speak about this, to be honest. Oleg? So as I recall, it was 90% remains locked, and it's unlocked over 24 months. Jess?
Yeah.
Charlie?
I
sounds
think
right, right?
that does sound right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that with the community. Great. I see some hands have been raised by the community. Jess, do you think now's a good time to move over and get some questions?
Yeah, let me start bringing people up. If you could please just ask one question each, keep your questions pithy, then we might be able to get through a few more than we have previously. Bringing 3 up at a time, and then I will unceremoniously dump you back into the audience when you've asked your question. Let's see who has come up. Surprise, surprise! Vintage Vic on the stage. Why don't you go first, and then we'll come to Kurt.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Hey, Vic. Good to have you on stage.
Yeah, good to be here. My question is about the inactivity fee that will be levied on certain users. I would like you to throw more light on um, how long the inactivity will last. If it's going to be weekly something, or weekly or monthly, or something like that.
I think I can't quite. I think you're breaking up, Vic. Is
No,
that
yeah, it's not just you, Charlie. It's hard to hear.
Vic? Do you wanna send your question in the AMA channel and we'll answer it unless you can get some better connection.
I believe the question was what time period the inactivity fee occurs on, over which time period, how inactive do you have to be, if we know the answer to that.
Okay, that's a product question. That's for Oleg.
Yeah. Hey guys, I mean we're looking at the multitude of different solutions right now, but think of inactivity fee as hello. Do you hear me?
We
Yeah.
do.
Okay. So think of it as a consistently active. So what you need to do is you need to take some steps every day. And if you are not moving today, then there might be a share of the tokens that we earned yesterday that will be kind of permanently locked or will be burned. This is the best that we can we can describe it at the moment, but we're in the process of working through the details.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Vic. Thanks for your question.
We didn't answer it. Do feel free to put it in the AMA channel, and we can come to that if need be. I believe Kurt was up next. When you come up on stage, I am putting people on mute when they first come up, just to avoid any background noise. But do unmute yourself. And Kurt, did you have a question for any of us on stage?
I did. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you, Kurt.
Good. Mine was just a quick, simple one. So now that you've formally announced the release date of the 12th of September, is that the same date that staking's going live as well, or is it just the straight up buying and selling of the token? And if staking's going live as well, are there going to be like multiple lockup periods with a flexible one, or is it just lock up for X amount of time and that's it?
There will be staking live, and there will be multiple lockup periods offered.
And that's on the same release day of the 12th, yeah?
The 12th is going to be snapshot. I think the token will go live and get listed, and everything will be released is going to be 13th. So we might need up to 24 hours to wrap everything up, make sure that everyone gets their tokens. But the snapshot is going to be taken on the 12th of September. And we consider this to be sort of GG. Think of this as a, kind of not a moment, because it's impossible to get tokens to what we expect to be 20 million people in one instance. Just technology like that just simply does not exist. So 13th staking, multiple lock-in period.
Okay, yeah, that answers my question. It was just to see if it was part of the same rollout, really, or if it was going to be another phase later down the line. But that's the only question I had. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kurt. Jess, who's next in your in the order?
Ethan is next in the queue, I believe. Ethan, did you have a question? Are you there?
Yes. So, hi everyone.
You have to unmute just in case. Are you there?
Yeah, we've got you.
Can you
Ethan.
guys hear me?
We've got you. Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Good. Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah. Okay. So, a quick one. I'm very, very much interested in this sweat coin. All right. So I understand that sweat economy is going to um be operated, or is going to have like two tokens, right? So the sweat token, which will be um will have a max supply. Okay, so which all of us I think we all are waiting at TGE. All right. So but the token we have right now, I I understood that we do not have like a max supply for it. All right. So which is quite understandable, all right? Because a lot of steps, okay, um will generate this token. All right. So my question will be, how do you guys plan to um control the generation of this token from probably billions of steps from people all over the world? All right. So
I'm
can you hear me?
sure. Yeah, I can hear you, Ethan. I'm happy to answer this because it's a really common question we get from the community. So just to clarify, the two assets. One is Sweatcoin, which um, is going to continue to be minted one Sweatcoin for 1,000 steps, and that is inflationary. Sweat token, on the other hand, has an increasing minting difficulty. And if you look at the graphics, and we can share one again, the increase in minting difficulty is actually exponential. So it's going to be really, really difficult to mint sweat after each, or even after a couple of years. It's going to take a lot of movement to mint it. So that in itself is going to have a massive impact. But further to your question, what's actually important is not just the max or capped supply or uncapped. No, that's not really the question I think that people want to know the answer to. The real question is, what is the kind of the fluidity and the circulating and unlocked supply? And if you look in our light paper, there's a lot. At each moment, there's not going to be vast swarms. It's not like we might create 21 billion at TGE. That's not all going to be liquid and on the market. And I think that's really important to understand, that there are measures in place to make sure that it's not all going to be inflationary. Does that help to answer your question? And Oleg, would you like to add anything to that?
No, I think that you answered it very well. The most important thing is not the token release. The most important thing is the whole balance. So you can achieve deflationary dynamics in the token even if you have uncapped supply, and you can see this happening with Ethereum right now. So this is a model that we are aiming for.
Oh, okay. So the sweat token which we all are waiting for at the TGE, we have uncapped supply as well, right? I was like thinking,
At TGE, you cannot have uncapped supply. At TGE, you're going to have a specific number of tokens that will exist, and some of them will be
okay,
unlocked. And over time, if you're looking into 1,000 years, we will still be rewarding your physical activity in 1,000 years' time. And
with sorry
total
about that.
total supply, so the ability to mint sweat, is going to stay for forever. However, there will be mechanics and tools that will be taking tokens out of supply to
Okay,
achieve
okay,
deflationary dynamics.
okay. All right, all right. So I think that answered my question. Okay. So, but
Thank you.
yeah. So the sweat coin, are we like going to be generating this red coin? Then are we going to be converting them to sweat tokens? That would be like after TG, obviously. Would that be
This is a
possible?
brilliant question. This is not going to be available immediately after TGE, but we would love community's input if this is something important and vital to introduce or not.
All right. Thank you so much. That will be all from me.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you,
Okay,
Ethan.
keen to move on so we can get through a few more questions in the remaining 10 minutes. Next up, we have Habibi and then Legend X1. Habibi, are you there? Do you have a question for us? Come in, Habibi, unmute if you're there. Otherwise, we'll move on to Legend X1. Nope. Okay, Legend X1, are you there? Did you have a question for us?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I had a question regarding the smart contract for the token generation. So, since there will be lot of people, will the process be batch process for generating the sweat tokens, or will it be generated after every 1,000 steps? So because the network traffic near protocol is having 1 lakh transactions per second limit. So just wanted to have an update on that.
Sorry, it's probably closer to me, but I am not entirely certain. Could you rephrase the question?
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is the near network transactions is 1 lakh 1 lakh transactions per second. So for Sweat, since there are many people who will be generating tokens, will there be any traffic issue because many tokens are generated at
No.
a single point of time?
No, we're testing right now kind of everything, not to the traffic volume that we have, but to traffic volume in the future. Kind of our tests right now do not indicate that near throughput is going to be an issue. So don't worry. Continue being active.
Yeah, thanks. That answered my question.
Thanks very much. Next up, we have Bonnie Face, which I probably mispronounced. Are you there? Do you have a question? I can't hear him. Can anyone else?
Come in, Boniface. We can't hear you. No? Okay. I guess over. Is there anyone else with their hand up?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
there's loads waiting. I'm just bringing them up now.
Hello?
Yeah,
Ooh, hello.
Die Time 999. I think you're
I
up
can't
next.
see anyone.
Can you hear us? Die Time.
Wait. Yes, can you speak?
We can hear you, I think. I don't think it's
Yes,
a great line,
sorry.
but we can.
Sorry, the output audio changed. Okay, my voice is clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is about the cryptocurrency. Like approximately how many tokens will you supply the market?
You mean for trading?
Yes.
I can't tell you an exact number, but I can tell you it will be very, very small of our total token supply. It's called float for anyone who wants to know, which is how much of your total token supply is available for trading at the beginning. Charlie, I do think we're going to add to our website token distribution pie chart, which shows this much goes to community, this much goes to investors, team, whatever, etc. But not that much is released for trading in the beginning. in order to make it rare so that it performs well. That's all I can say. It's a tricky topic to answer.
So the price will be like not for sure, but approximately a bit high, right? For each token.
We can't comment on the price of the token.
Yeah, any project that openly talks to you about its price, you should never engage with because they're breaking the law. That's all we can say.
No, like just a picture of it, not exactly. But thank you for answering.
For sure.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Daytime. I'm going to try Boniface one more time because I did see him and Mike, and if not, we're coming to Hydro next. Boniface, are you there? Are you there?
No luck. I think Boniface, your time's up on stage.
Apologies for that. Try again next time, or post your question in the community channel. Okay, next we have Hydro. What's your question for the stage?
Which crypto app will Sweat Token be first launched on?
I love a short question. Who's got that?
What was the question again? Which crypto
app will we first be launched on?
I cannot answer this question because I don't know. We are not really aiming for crypto apps, to be honest. We will have our own wallet. That's going to be our app. If you're talking about exchanges, then we cannot possibly comment on the way those conversations are going.
Okay.
It's Hydro.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for your question. I'm sorry we couldn't give you any more detail than that. It's very much a case of watch this space. I think Ofir was alluding to some of the exciting conversations currently in progress. So you all I can say is the community will be first to know the answers to questions like that, as always. So do stay tuned, and we will let you know. I think next up we had Noan's one. The squirrel. I love a good squirrel in Discord.
Can we just call it the squirrel? No.
Question from the squirrel, please.
Shy squirrel. It turns out.
A few people are having problems with their mics today and input output. All right, let's go to Mahmood. Mahmood, I think you're next with a question. Hello.
It's a curse. What's going on with your microphones, guys? Could you please, before coming on stage, check that your microphone is working?
There's a lot of microphone flashing going on. I feel like I'm back in my Clubhouse days. Mahmood, last chance. Noan's last chance. He's flashing at me. I meant that. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on.
He was doing what to you, Jack?
Yeah, moving on. Mr. Genesis, are you there, and do you have a functioning microphone?
I believe I do.
Hooray! What's your question?
My question has to do with decentralization. I believe the NEAR protocol is currently very centralized. And my question is, what is the plan for the Sweat token to go multi-chain? So it's not just on one blockchain.
Great question. That's one for Oleg, I imagine.
I actually have a bit to say about that as well.
Sure, go ahead, Ofir.
All right. Well, first of all, which blockchain you're on doesn't dictate how decentralized you are as a project. And probably what you mean when you say near is centralized is that they don't have that many miners or delegators. But that will, of course, change. In Near's vision, they have much more developers and miners and delegators around the world engaged with them. One of the reasons why we're excited to work with them is because they are also looking at mass market. However, that doesn't dictate to us what we do. When we look at our future, as Oleg mentioned before, we'd like to see the token holders that are engaged and want to do it participate in a DAO. And then I'll pass to Oleg. I just wanted to say that was my segue.
Absolutely. Great contribution here. I think that our vision is to become DAO as soon as practicable. We do see a lot of examples of projects becoming decentralized way too early and then struggling and suffering because of that. Kind of our horizon is probably around 2 years, or at least that's what we have in mind right now, subject to change. In terms of us going multi-chain and making Sweat available on multiple chains, this is going to happen very, very soon, if not immediately after TGE, through the use of bridges. We want to make sure that our liquidity available where people are, not only on Near.
Okay, thank you very much. You answered my question.
Great question and fantastic microphone etiquette there. We'll take the last two questions, and I think we'll have to close out for today. Let's try. Did we already try Munza? Do we have a functioning microphone there, Munza?
I hope not.
Yay! What's your question?
Right. Okay. First, thank you for postponing the TGE to 12th of September, because until then we'll have more time to mint more sweat coins. I'm glad that you did. Second, my question is about the minting difficulty, actually. So you said that it's not time dependent, but it depends on the new minted sweat coins. So every new sweat, let's say, every new sweat that's minted, that will increase the difficulty of minting, and that's globally. So please correct me if I'm wrong. And I'd like to know if there is any mathematical formula or mathematical model that you are using to calculate the difficulty, because that would be maybe interesting for blockchain developers to see the mathematical model that you are using. I think it's interesting, so it will be good if you share it. And last thing is about staking. So is there any limit or a minimum amount that we should have in Sweat in order to be able to stake? So those were my questions.
Oleg, you unmiked. Did you want to come in on either of those?
Or maybe Charlie? I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll say that as far as I'm aware, there's no minimum amount that can be staked. And what was the first part of your question, briefly?
Is there any formula or mathematical model that you are using to calculate how much?
Do you hear me, guys?
Oh, Oleg, hello. Can you hear us?
I hear.
That's really weird. So now it was my turn for troubled mic. The formula, yes, absolutely, it does exist. It will be in our smart contract. It's not that kind of only selected few will be able to see it. Everyone will be able to see this formula. So as soon as contract is deployed, it will be public.
Great question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the last question today, if we've got a functioning mic, is from Frick. That's about as far as I can get with pronouncing that. Frick, are you there?
Frick, who created a great translation of the light paper. I saw
Is that Frick's work? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You are very, very welcome on stage. Did you You must know our light paper very, very well then.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. That's all I can do. So it's actually pronouncing Frank with a C. I'm from Taiwan, and I'm very happy to hear that you postponed the DG date because September 8th is my birthday. I'm gonna have a good birthday gift for this year. And I have a simple question. So me and Vic Vintage, we are like both football fans. And the FIFA World Cup is coming this year. And are you gonna do something crossover or cooperation with like professional teams or even for the event? Because I can see Crypto.com is already supporting this world event. I think the question is for you, Jess.
What was the event? I missed the name of the event you were talking about.
FIFA World Cup.
Oh, FIFA World Cup. Wow,
Yes.
we would.
Wow.
Well, why not? Why not aim high, I say. Yes, we've actually had some inbound inquiries from some national football teams and individuals. It's something we would love to explore. Obviously, cannot commit to that right now. It seems like it would be a fabulous tie-up, and we are in the process of trying to tie up with as many people that share our vision and can help us amplify and take that message to the world. So it's ambitious, but it's certainly aspirational and something that we would love to get more involved in. So sorry, I can't say any more than that, but I love the community giving the marketing team ideas for places that we want to see. Do use Discord to do that, because your ideas, really help inform and inspire us for the sort of partnerships that we should be going after. So I've now written that down in my notebook as something that I should explore further. So Frank, thank you. And please, others, please do pipe up if you have good ideas.
I also want to just chime
Okay,
in,
cool.
like really, really quickly. Hey guys, this is Sarim. I'm the rewards manager for everything that's going to happen. I'm not sure if, obviously it's a very lofty goal to partner with the World Cup officially. Obviously we're going to go for it, but who knows? We might be giving away World Cup tickets as part of our rewards program. Stay tuned, because it is something we have looked into, truthfully.
Korean way to just tease people. And then should we just end the MA right now so everyone